This is episode 85 of the Holochronicles Podcast, where we are talking Galaxy's Edge musts with our buddy Keith, with a little bit of the Jackson 5 and a Red 5 Design toy review. Josh, hit it.
Woo! 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 Sure is hot in these rhinos. Oh man! Oh man! Oh,
I love that scene.
Welcome to the Holochronicles and the sweltering Pacific Northwest.
It's more like the Hello Chronicles.
The Hello Chronicles. Damn.
Record-breaking heat in the Pacific Northwest, but we are still here for you.
The land where you don't have a tan, you only rust.
You rust.
But we're getting the heat.
Oh my goodness.
We are getting the heat so much. What did we reached 111. So
It's pretty hot. It's pretty hot.
It's locked up. Sorry. We're 35 to 40 degrees above our average right now. I think the heat is affecting our connection. So we apologize in advance if
everything.
If we go away, we have some great guests. They'll keep the show going. So no worries there.
No worries there. Speaking of the show tonight, Josh, we've got a lot to get through. We've got the Jackson 5, which is going to be awesome. We've got...
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
We've got our buddy Keith, who I have dubbed him as a Galaxy's Edge expert. He's bad. He's bad.
All right. And then what else? What other song can I put here?
I don't know, man. Red 5 Design sort of review at the end, but that it also ties in with Keith in a really timely way. And maybe if we still have people watching, we're going to talk about maybe some new toys coming out.
Okay.
So,
and we hope you're all staying cool out there. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Josh, where can you find us now?
Oh, you can find us at Holochronicles. Just Holochronicles. Search it anywhere. Twitter. We got us on YouTube. Holochronicles. We're on Facebook. Holochronicles. We're on Instagram. Holochronicles. We're even on email. Holochronicles@gmail.com. And we're also in another spot. Oh, Patreon.
Shout out to the patrons.
/Holochronicles.
/Holochronicles. All right.
If you don't know how to spell Holochronicles, just Google us with whatever spelling you got, and we're on the 5th page.
Just after Holocaust.
Yeah, unfortunately.
You got to scroll down a little bit.
Scroll down a little more.
Anyway, shout out to the people in the chats this evening, our faithful Holocronies. We got Matt and JD and Gilster and Gary and
Mark,
the shabby one himself. Scuba's here. I mean, the gang's all here. So, I mean, we will be clicking on you guys here momentarily. But Josh, we're going to start things off tonight with our good buddy Jackson and the Jackson 5.
Remove headphones now.
Is there anybody named Jackson around?
The stuff of legend.
Look at him. Yeah, there it is. Oh, it looks like he's having connection issues too. Oh no, he's just a trickster. He's just a trickster.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Jackson. Jackson has been doing a bi-weekly comic review, kind of like classes in session, and he's going to teach us something. What are you going to teach us today, Jackson?
Yeah, man. What do we got?
Well, everybody get close to the set or the television set.
Thank you.
Whatever you're watching on this. All right, so we're going to be talking about Vader Down, which is a Marvel one-off issue that was the start of a crossover, a limited crossover between the main Star Wars title and the Darth Vader title. Now, the Darth Vader title and the Star Wars comic in Marvel, they started up in 2015. So this is the big tentpole comic series, Star Wars and Darth Vader. after the Disney acquisition. So it was January 2015, both started. They were both running at in parallel tracks, taking place immediately after the Death Star exploding. Okay, so I don't know
Death
if
Star
you've
1?
got- yes, Death Star 1.
DT1.
I'm not sure if
in the biz.
If you, either of you guys read any of these comics.
I think I have read one or two, but my recall is next to
That's
zero.
okay. That's okay. So it's interesting because Vader is dedicated on finding out who the pilot is that destroyed the Death Star. It's all canon now, so it's worth checking out. But Vader Down was published and released November 2015.
Okay.
And it centered on the story where Vader crash lands after basically running into Luke's X-Wing, crash lands onto a planet, and then the rebels know he's on this planet, and they understand that this is their best chance of taking him down. And thus, Vader Down, and then the story takes place over, I think, 6 issues.
Okay.
But of course,
We've got a Vader down.
Vader Down.
You guys have to.
Vader Down.
It's worth reading. It's pretty epic in how Vader kind of handles the rebels, if you can imagine. But I don't want to give the spoilers too much. However, thank you very much, Shabby. It is an awesome comic run. 47 different variant covers.
Whoa.
So yes,
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah. 47, and I wanted to show you a few here right now. If you take a look.
See, so how would I know if I've read this comic?
This is all for the first one, or just 47 out of the 6?
This is 47 different variant covers of the same comic.
Wow.
Vader Down, number 1. So Vader Down number 1 is the one-off issue, and then the story continues in Darth Vader number 13, Star Wars number 13, Darth Vader number 14, Star Wars number 14, and then concludes in Darth Vader issue 15. And that's the end of that Vader Down arc. Now, the arc itself was written by Jason Aaron and Kieran Gillen. So they were both the lead writers on both the Vader and the Star Wars series. So they kind of took advantage of working together. And I just wanted to show you a couple of my favorite variants. Now, the issue was a larger comic. So retail price was $4.99 usually at the newsstand. But if you're trying to track down copies now, you can find them for a little bit more than that, usually on eBay. Let's see.
Is one worth more than another, perhaps?
Oh, well, Andy, we're getting to that.
Oh,
Yes.
Andy.
Oh, don't you?
Oh, Andy.
Don't
Look
you
at you.
I did want to show you.
What a setup.
You guys remember John Tyler Christopher, who did the action figure variant covers I showed you before?
Yes.
Yes, we do, Jackson.
Well,
I
take a
love
look.
them. I love them.
Those are
They're so
Right?
cool.
yeah.
So you
yeah.
you got the early bird on the right, and then the checklist on the left.
Mhm.
And these are both variants for Vader Down number 1.
Wow.
Additionally, now this is something that, because you have multiple comics in the series, you can actually pull this off pretty easily. But take a look at those, right? Pretty neat.
Yeah.
Oh, that's like the old TV guides.
so yes, I have, because Vader.
Wait.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Wait.
Sorry. I won't talk.
Oh, all the covers lined up together.
Oh.
If you had like one of those comic frames like I have, you can pull this off in your own home. Wink, wink, Andy. Nudge, nudge. Say no more.
Nudge,
say no more.
nudge.
By the way, yes, Dr. Afra, her 2
yes.
droids and Black Chrysanthemum, I'm sorry, are both are all in this series as well.
000 and
Yes.
what's the other guy?
BT.
Mr.
BT.
Yeah. Luke's got like a scimitar saber.
Oh, look
Isn't
at
it
him.
cool?
Yeah.
Dude.
It looks kind of distorted, like he's really swinging it, right?
Yeah.
He's really swinging it.
Now,
With authority.
this was the actual cover A. Cover A is basically the most common release cover on the left. It's Mark Brooks that did that one. Again, you can find these for about $7 or $8. The right one is what we call a virgin variant. So there's no writing on it. It's just the cover art itself. That would probably, yeah, exactly. That would probably go for $20 or $30. Now, where I start to get interested in is some of the weirder variants, and Phil Noto is one of my favorite comic book cover illustrators, and he did this one. I'll show you right now. Oh, look at that.
Wow.
Huh?
Wow. With Afra. Yeah.
Right?
Very cool.
That's excellent.
And Luke in the background.
Right,
Look at that.
right.
With instead of X-Wings or TIE fighters. That's so
right.
good.
It's awesome.
So you can get your hands on the left, which is a Vienna Comic Con variant exclusive, and then additionally, the one on the right is a sketch version of the same one. But yeah, those are two of my favorites, just because they take that original movie
That's so
poster
cool.
and kind of
That's so
pervert it
cool.
almost to the dark side. And come on, Afro looks hot. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah,
she does.
the Tom Jung artwork.
Now that's my second favorite cover.
Okay.
Do you guys want to
Okay.
see my favorite? cover?
Numero uno.
Are you
Yeah,
ready
right.
for this?
Like they say in Vienna.
Oh, what does that look like?
That's the Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, there's Jackson. Look at him.
Some bitch.
Look at him. He's got the ears.
He's about to die.
Yeah, he's about to die.
Hey, wait a minute. Jackson Immortal. Jackson Immortal. That's the new VR game, by the way. Jackson Immortal.
Jackson Immortal. Okay.
Now,
That's amazing.
or immoral. whatever.
Immoral, yeah.
Christmas. Christmas
so-
2022.
So that issue is probably, I think, if you wanted to get that, it's a little bit more expensive. It's probably about $30 to $40. But
How many
that's
do
the
you
one.
have?
Look
I
at
have
that.
two. I
That's
have two
very
copies
cool.
of that.
Excellent.
Now the one on the right, however, is a 4,999th ratio cover. It's by the same artist. It's basically with the color removed, except for Jackson. It's by Chip Zdarsky, who's generally a writer, but he does some comic art occasionally. Now, I'm going to ask Andy.
Yes.
Mhm.
Andy, because Andy loves this kind of thing. Andy,
Mhm.
how much do you think that cover is selling for on eBay? Give me like your ballpark estimate for the top amount.
Just not graded, just loose comic.
Oh no, we'll talk. We'll say graded.
Okay, graded. I would say $1,500.
Whoa.
$1,500. Okay. Well,
Hold on. Can I go?
yes,
Is this like the Price is Right?
I think it's 850.
850. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's
Jackson,
graded. Both of you
what's
guys
your grade?
graded.
Yeah,
1,500.
that's graded. Sure. Now,
Okay.
well, hold on. Let's do some math here. He just said the 1/4099th ratio.
So for
cover.
every 4,000, there's one of these.
5,000 ish. There's one of those. 4,999th. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. You're
Yeah.
right.
So there's one of these. So I'm upping it. I'm going to 2K.
Okay.
I just prices righted your ass.
Yeah.
That was good.
2001.
Yeah.
Are you
All
going
right, what is it, Jackson? What is it?
opportunity to raise you? No?
Gilster.
Okay.
$1.
$1 for $1.
Gilster, I love your style. I love your style, man. All right. Well, so I'm going to just say that you guys are both a little off.
Uh-oh.
Now, in about 3 or 4 years ago, that comic was going graded for about $3,000 to $4,000. However, if you had some signatures on that, okay,
Oof.
like say Chip Zdarsky signature and Stan Lee's signature, you could be selling that
Jee-miny.
comic. You could be selling that comic for
Holy
$48,000.
shnikes.
$699. Right.
Wow.
That's a listing from today. But again, that's
Approximate. Wow.
again, and just like anything, like with toys, the value is what you pay for it, right?
Sure.
Sure. The
Now-
perceived value is only what somebody's willing to pay. Yeah.
Right. Now, the next highest listing for that comic is just with Chip Zdarsky's signature, slabs, 9.6 condition. It's 15,000. So, I don't have a copy. I don't have.
I was
going
gonna say, Jackson, that's not your listing, is it, Mister?
That is not my listing. I do
Is
not
he
have a copy
selling
of
his
that.
own stuff?
I'm still trying to convince Chip Zdarsky to give me a copy.
I see.
I
Yo,
imagine
Chip.
I imagine Chip just sleeps in a bed full
Yeah.
of these. But I do have I do have
That's
the
a
one on
weird-
the left.
It's a weird imagination.
It is a weird imagination. You know,
You do have the one on the left. So the one on the left is significantly lower, and
Yes. Yep.
but still
Okay.
awesome nonetheless.
That's
It is
Awesome,
still
yeah.
awesome.
It
So-
looks cool.
Yeah, and that's anytime you can attach Jackson to something that's worth almost $50,000 is kind of hilarious.
Pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
So that's
Hey,
that's
Jackson, behind you on the
5.
monitor, I think we're getting our heat wave in the Northwest displayed there.
Oh,
Look at
we've
that.
got fragments of the comet coming in. Watch it, guys.
Engineering.
Forecast
Beautiful.
calls for
Beautiful.
pain.
I love that. I thought I learned. And
Yeah.
now I'm going to go look
Yeah.
because I know I have Afra comics where she was first introduced. And so
Yep.
those are Vader Down.
Afra was introduced a little bit before Vader Down.
Okay.
Yeah,
That might
but
have
she
been
was
just
in
in the
Vader,
Vader.
Down. Now, guys, maybe what I can do is I'm going to send you guys a link, and maybe you can share it with everybody.
Okay,
but
send it
there's
to our DM.
I will. But there's an artist, a digital artist that made a Vader Down 8-bit movie. So basically,
wow.
like the
Awesome.
graphics, like of a Super Nintendo game. And
Sure.
if you want the story spoiled, go for it. It's pretty amazing, actually.
Excellent.
Cool.
Now I'm going to dig them out because they're actually sitting right over there. Because I think what I did is I kind of went like I bought where they put like 5 issues in one book.
Yeah.
I know, such a comic
Oh yeah,
novice.
yeah.
You know where they
No,
put
that's
like
okay.
5 chapters in one
You
book?
talking about like a paperback, trade paperback, or a hardcover?
Yeah, it kind of looks like a graphic novel style.
Yeah, and you can actually get Vader Down, the whole 6-issue series, in a trade. You don't have to go and collect the Star Wars trade and the Vader trade. You can get Vader Down as a separate.
Excellent.
as a separate trade.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's worth reading. Check it out, guys.
I will.
Okay,
I will.
cool.
Jackson,
Thanks, buddy.
expert as always.
Hey, it's good to be here.
Boom.
Dang
Hold on. Look. He just froze. Oh,
Yeah.
his eyes moved. His eyes
blinked
moved.
it.
Please.
Son of
It must
Hey.
be the heat.
Thank you, Jackson,
Thanks,
very
Jackson.
much.
Good night, boys.
I'm already looking forward to the next one in 2 weeks. So
It's
beautiful.
going to be on.
thank you.
Beautiful.
You got
Beautiful work. See
Stay
you,
cool.
Jackson.
Stay cool.
This
Thanks,
has
gentlemen.
been a Jackson 13. Matt was keeping track.
Yeah.
I love it. Actually, I think that becomes the new, like, that's what we surround Jackson 5 with, is like, it's never 5 minutes. Come on, we were tricking you. We can't even get in. We can't even script the surface in 5 minutes.
No.
As a matter of fact, that was a wonderful take. And now, like I said, I'm digging those out so I can read them.
Next on the list, Josh, we have another guest, and he is our featured guest for tonight's show. Guy that we both know outside of Star Wars.
Yeah.
Known Keith for a little while now.
We actually talk to people outside of Star Wars.
It's
It's
we do
weird.
have other friends, actual friends that aren't Star Wars related. It just so happens that Keith is a Star Wars fan too.
Oh, don't get
sorry.
all choked up. I mean, we haven't seen him in a while.
Love the guy.
COVID.
Actually, I saw him a couple days ago. No, but Keith is unique because he has a passion for Star Wars
Mhm.
and Marvel. That part is not unique.
Sure.
But Keith's uniqueness comes in how he expresses his fandom, right? Just like everybody does with their collections. Every collection's a little different.
Right.
That's how we, express our fandoms through our collections. We say that quite a bit here. But he's got a Star Wars / Captain America collection that is really, really cool.
Right.
And what we have Keith on here for today is to talk Galaxy's Edge, because he goes to Disneyland more than anybody I know. He's been to the Disneyland in Los Angeles. He's been to Disney World in Orlando. He's been
And to Galaxy's Edge at both.
in both. And not only that, he was in Galaxy's Edge when it opened,
Mm-hmm.
and he's been to Galaxy's Edge recent
He went to
So-
Galaxy's Edge for his honeymoon.
for his honeymoon. That's right.
Now
That's a feather in his cap.
that is
right
a
there.
feather in his cap.
So let's bring Keith in.
Let's bring him
Ladies
in.
and gentlemen, Keith.
Keith. Hey,
Galaxy's Edge expert.
Welcome, Keith.
Yeah, I mean, it's really bad when you start to cry when you see the Millennium Falcon live and in person, but you didn't when your wife walked down the aisle. That kind of sets a terrible precedence. Whoops.
Oh, yes. Yes. Keith, Euro Disney. What's your thoughts? When you going?
Never.
Never.
Don't need to. Okay.
No,
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Hong Kong Disneyland's got the Tron coaster, and that might be better than going back to Florida, which is worse than what we're experiencing here in Washington.
Oh,
so
I bet. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
There was no part of it that was good weather-wise. It was bad.
Yeah, I bet it was a sweaty affair, good sir.
So,
Yeah.
Keith, how many times exactly have you been to the Galaxy Edges?
So literally, California Galaxy's Edge opened up the day of my wedding.
Okay.
And I had already planned a honeymoon in Disneyland, so I was driving down the interstate when you could do the reservations, and I literally pulled off and got my reservations for Galaxy's Edge, and then realized that I didn't include my wife on the reservations. I had to do it a second time, because that's when you had to do reservations to get into Galaxy's Edge.
Right.
So this makes just two. I mean, I've only been to Disneyland. I was in Disneyland when I was like 7 years old. And then on my honeymoon was the next time. And then we just did Disney World. But we're already planning some other trips. So we're going to try and make it more regular.
Yeah. Okay. So you've got experience in both locations. Real quick, what's the biggest difference between the two, Orlando and LA?
I mean, really, you're going to look at the lands. They look identical with the exception of paint.
Okay.
The paint in Florida is far more vibrant, and that's because the weather and climate is so much harsher. It's going to bleach with time to match what it will look like. It ultimately looks like in California now. And that's just something they did aesthetically. They knew it was going to be an issue as time goes on, which if you go to Florida, you see it on absolutely everything. It's a very harsh set of climates. So primarily the marketplace is a lot brighter. And then outside of, say, Ugas or Dakodars, those are just a richer color, and it's just going to fade as time goes on.
And just for clarification, Dakodars is the shop where you can buy collectibles and toys and stuff.
Yeah, so if you look at it, the real land is divided into two different kind of shopping experiences. You've got, or really three if you want to get technical. One is the marketplace, and that's got stuff for the kids primarily. You've got a few little random pieces. Like, I mean, I'm sitting here, I've got a great keychain, and you can get that in the marketplace. That's nothing too bad. But it's all smaller pieces. Stuffed animals, the little pets that you can put on your shoulders, which they've got. I mean,
the monkey lizards.
Well, yeah, and then you can even do porgs now that have a little shoulder pet version of it.
Nice.
They've got kind of Rey's Stormtrooper, that's doll that she had in Rogue One. They've got things like that there. Dakodars is going to be the stuff that you pay a lot more for.
Gotcha.
So that's going to be the Legacy Sabers. That's going to be the bust of Palpatine, if you really wanted it. They've got Princess Leia's headdress and hair, and like they've got random.
Is that where the life-size R2 would be?
No, actually, that's in the droid section. So the third portion of purchases is really going to be experience-led purchases, and that's going to be your build a droid, so Droid Depot, and then Savi's lightsaber workshop. And the Droid Depot, great for especially a younger audience. It's a fun thing to kind of go through and experience. But then if you just cut through, they've got a Droid Depot shopping selection where you don't build your own droid, you just get to buy a prepackaged one. But that's where they've got the $25,000 R2. Was not there actually in
Ooh, we had a high roller come through already, huh?
Well, the interesting thing is they just have a droid for each location. When you buy it, it actually gets custom made for you to ship out.
So you're saying they didn't even have one to offer?
They didn't even have one to offer or show, which I had heard might actually be something that was going on. People were just messing around with them and they're too expensive. But Adam Savage actually has a video that he just posted on YouTube probably about 6-7 months ago where he helped build somebody's $25,000 R2. So it's a cool experience, but definitely a starter droid. Still a metal dome, but it's even the employees, the cast members that are there, like, yeah, this is a good starting point for you.
So Keith, walk us through, like, this is my thought, because Disneyland, like you said, is all about experience.
Absolutely.
And as a kid, when I go there now with my kids, I have that experience nostalgically again. When I walk through the arches and it says, beyond, I don't know the quote, but after this point, let your imagination take over, essentially is what the saying is.
Yeah.
How do you feel when you walk in to Galaxy's Edge? I mean, is there that separation Disney's so good at where you leave whatever part of the park you were in and now you're in this area? What are they giving you to make you feel that way?
In Disneyland, I think they actually did it better. The transition I felt was a lot smoother and more immersive. Both Orlando, so Disney World and Disneyland, have it to where you go under a covered area. So when you're in Disneyland, you're in Frontierland and walking into this tunnel, and all of a sudden it goes from rock to kind of a different set of stone, and the lighting fixtures change, and then all of a sudden the ambient noise and music stops, and then you just start hearing wildlife, but it's not any kind of wildlife we have in reality. And that moment, you start to realize there's something a little different. And then it takes you through a bunch of different pathways. You'll start to see it's definitely designed to be like a Rebel outpost. All of the lighting structures look like it's just a pop-up light up setup. And in Disneyland, one of the first things you see is an A-wing and the X-wing. It's not necessarily the T-65. It's going to be something from the new new trilogy, but it's all out there, and it's a phenomenal setup. When we went to Disneyland, Chewbacca was working on an X-wing. It's like, great. Like, I'm going to stand there and watch Chewbacca. This poor guy, poor schlub, is out there in like 100-degree heat.
Wow. Oh, you're saying it's not an animatronic then?
No,
this is
it's literally, you've got
that's awesome.
people, and even Rey was out there working on speeders at one point, and the girl that they got to play Rey looks just like her. I mean, it's not Daisy Ridley, but they got somebody who is very close in just general demeanor and everything. So
is it Razy Diddley?
Razy Diddley.
Yep.
I dated her in high school.
So Keith, when you say immersive, by definition, it is all, to the smallest detail. I've heard, now neither Josh and I have been to Galaxy's Edge yet.
What, Josh hasn't gone yet?
I haven't, sir. I know.
You've got
you beat me.
You're still not going?
You beat me.
So
Twice.
I've heard
Dick.
I've heard that even the graffiti in the bathrooms is like in Arabesh or stuff like that.
Yeah. So the key to it, if you really want to have it be immersive, is there's an app called Disney Play. Okay. And that app actually lets you play games in queue. So say you're sitting in line for Peter Pan, it's trivia and gives you points. But for Galaxy's Edge, it's got a trivia setup, but it's also a data pad. So you can actually hold it up and it will translate for you.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Which is just phenomenal. It's great to see and fun. One example of little hidden Easter eggs they do is there's barcodes on everything. Even in Rise of the Resistance, it's a QR code and it will start to unlock something and it'll tell you what's in that container. Or the trash compactor monster from A New Hope. You go to the water fountain and you can fill your water bottle and scan the thing, and then all of a sudden it'll actually come up out of the water.
Wow.
Look at you, it'll roar and it'll drop its head down.
That's
so
cool.
It's Disney. They're going to put detail to absolutely everything. I think I've got probably 400 or 500 pictures of just the Millennium Falcon alone, just going around it. It's that detailed. When we were in Galaxy's Edge the first time, they actually had people like asking us what we thought because it was just limited amount of people brought in. I'm like, okay, so realism, like, what'd you think of the Falcons? Like, it's fantastic, except you got the cannons wrong because they didn't have the cannons right on it. But I'm OCD like that, so I know. The guy's like, no, we researched it. It's like, no, actually, the barrels look a little wrong. And we pulled it up. He's like, you're actually right.
Wow.
So
Keith, actually Disneyland.
Oh,
exactly. Well, I mean,
they're like, okay, sir, fill out this application.
Yeah, that's great.
All right, so the atmosphere is awesome. I'm a big sound guy, so the sounds that you experience. You said that the ambient noise changed, but what are the sounds you experience when you're in there? I mean, what are they giving you?
It was really weird. It's the only land that doesn't have music.
That's what I heard. So yeah,
And I actually, when I first went, I did not like that. I actually was hoping for something John Williams, and technically there is a John Williams score that goes behind things. It's a light music. I heard it a little bit more on the second trip, but it's really just dealing with all the sounds. You hear droids beeping, things like that. You actually see droid tracks and footprints in the concrete leading all over the place. They really took the time to make sure everything's there. And in true Star Wars fashion, it's all weathered. It doesn't look like it's brand new. All the flags, it looks like it's Maz's. There's just flags torn up, sun faded already, like brand new. It looked like that.
Cool.
And in Florida, it looked identical too. So
just a little
really,
more vibrant.
Yeah.
So
And it's funny though, because you could see where the sun really hits in Florida, because part of that's already started to sun fade, and it's only been open a year and a half, 2 years now.
Yeah. Well, Keith, I want to move into kind of what I kind of prepped you for here, and that is if we're going to do Galaxy's Edge, because no later than May of next year, Josh and I are going to be there, and I'm already looking forward to it. But I don't want to waste my time doing things that maybe would be better with kids, because I'm not going to have my kids there.
I'll be there.
Okay, well,
you're older,
but
this is disturbing. You guys should get a room.
Give me a balloon, buddy. I'll do whatever you want. Give me a balloon.
So my question is, what are the things that what are your tips? What are your tips for doing Galaxy's Edge right?
Well, there are two things right off that you need to get on, or at least get in a list for, just to have the full experience. And the first one's going to be the Cantina. Second one's going to be Rise of the Resistance. Okay. Now, the Cantina, it's reservation only, at least as of now in a COVID world. When it first opened up, it was just the first thing you had to get in line for, because everybody burned through the lines for everything else first. If you got into Ugas, they only allowed, at that point, it was a 3-hour span, and they only allowed 100 people in. So even now, it was the first for Disney World. You have to do reservations for everything. It's one of the first places to actually get a reservation. It's the hardest to book. We couldn't even get in this trip. It was that hard. Now, that said, there's no food. There's absolutely no food. It is just drinks. So there's they have alcoholic, non-alcoholic, but it is a great experience. And if you love Star Tours at all, they actually had the original droid, and he's now DJ Rex that's just playing.
That's rad. Yeah, I love that.
You have the IG droid heads actually around the bar, all the stuff. Every one of the drinks is a themed drink. So one of them is called the Fuzzy Tauntaun, and it actually will like have a pop rock feeling and then make your mouth go numb.
Oh, okay, cool.
I thought I smelled that on the outside.
Try that one out. Not a drink, but there you go. Blue milk. I mean, you have to do it at least once. I would never do it again personally. But,
I see.
But it's basically like a rice milk that's frozen. And then Rise of the Resistance, that you literally just have to get a boarding group. So the key to doing a boarding group with Rise of the Resistance is, say it's the two of you, or you've got all the family. You have to make sure that your friends and family are all tied to the same group in the app the night before. Because if you try to do it the night of, system will crash. And then if they aren't part of your friends and family and you get the reservations, guess what? It's only the people that are part of your group that get to go. So it sucks.
That sounds so Empire-ish.
It's very well. I'm sorry, it's Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, well,
it's a human trap.
The ultimate empire.
Yes, but I mean that experience alone, it's like no ride you've ever
seen. Sorry, Andy and I are doing Goofy and
Mickey laughs.
Yeah. All right, so that's good. So we. So make sure your boarding group includes your family, which is done through the app. So it's all app driven.
It's all app driven. They actually did an update here about a week ago. Instead of having to exit out of it every time, you just pull down and it refreshes. But boarding groups start at 7 a.m. So you have to be in the app by about 6:50, and then just keep refreshing. And
And
then
you're saying that's the day
point,
before, or is
it's the
Yeah.
morning of.
morning of? Okay.
So you got to get your group set up the night before.
Okay.
And then you do your reservation 7 a.m. the morning of. You're pulling down, refreshing. We had 5 adults trying to get the reservations.
Well, that
2
was your
days in a
problem.
row.
You needed 3 teenagers. You'd had boarding groups for everyone. I'm sorry.
I wish. But I tell you, the first boarding group is 7 a.m. The second one is at 1. And you
Whoa.
can literally hear people scream and go, "What?" and storm out of the park when they realize they didn't get their 1 o'clock boarding group. Because they'll put over the PA, like, thank you very much. All Star Wars Rise of the Resistance boarding groups are closed at
Ooh.
1:01. It's just done.
Wow.
Like it goes that quickly. And
Silly.
it's such an intricate ride. There are times it does go down, but the experience to it, it's nuts.
So I don't want to know anything about it because I know it's going to be awesome. But I appreciate you going over that because one of our patrons, Mark Magaha, wanted to know tips on how to get boarding passes for Rise of the Resistance. So,
And it's just, you literally have to be annoying and tenacious about it. Just keep going on there. And I mean, the cast members hold it to a hard line because I tried to even fudge it like, hey, like I had an issue with my app. Could you let me? And they're no. They just shoot you down real fast. Yeah. But once you do get the reservations, they're pretty nice about it. But I mean, reservations is the one thing. You have to get that figured out. Then the next thing is you have to walk through and just experience it. Because when you're walking through the marketplace, it's like you're on another planet. I mean, they have got everything going. You literally have a transport ship at one point over Daco Dars that it's actually got little hidden Easter eggs. The cargo on it are the years that the first trilogy came out. All 3 different pieces of cargo to it. But It goes rumbles and it has emissions that come out of it. So you'll hear that. And the Falcon is right there. And it's not uncommon to see grown men cry.
Not uncommon at all.
But you got Kylo and Chewbacca will be running around there working on the Falcon. Kylo's at his shuttle and got stormtroopers. I mean, he had the stormtroopers interrogate us. They were terrorizing small kids at some point too. So they just have fun with it. That's the best part about Rise of the Resistance too, is they give the cast members that have anything First Order related the ability to just give you as much crap as possible.
Awesome.
Like they send you into an interrogation room, and I turned around and told the guy, it's like, okay, well, I guess this is goodbye. I love you. And I didn't think anything. He came back in, got in my face. He's like, that was disgusting. Like, okay. But it's a blast. But then Daco Dars is my go-to. I love that one. There's so much cool stuff. Not in Florida as much. I found that you could actually find pretty much everything that was in that one in the airport, with the exception of the Legacy lightsabers. But they had pretty much no stock. But in Disneyland right now, they still have it really full. And then the other experience, like the droid building experience, is Savi's saber build. And that one, if you like lightsabers at all, is it's so fun. It's entertaining. I didn't actually go in to do the saber myself, but got to see the experience, and it's over the top. Is this where you can build a custom saber, but can you also build a legacy saber? You can't build a legacy saber, sadly. Okay. You can build them that look really close, but these ones start at $200, come with the blade and the hilt. A legacy saber starts usually about 110 to 220, though Ahsoka's original sabers that came out, let's see, they're her current sabers right now. They retired those. They sold for $200. And right now I'm looking at sold versions that are going for about $1,200 to $1,500 a piece. Her current sabers that are out right now are, again, $200. And if you can find them, it's amazing. There's literally a kid walking around Epcot with 2 sets clipped to a frickin' belt. And those are going for about $600 a piece. But Mace is the next one retiring, and his has gone through the roof too. That's awesome. I think this kind of
we'll transition nicely here. We had another question from a patron, Gary Moore, who's also in the chat.
Woo!
Gary
What's up,
Moore,
Gary?
shout out.
Hey, Gary!
Gary asked, you okay?
You all right, buddy?
No, I'm dying.
No, Gary wanted to know what were some of the exclusive items to Galaxy's Edge that you can only find there. I guess that's what exclusive means.
There are a few things. Primarily, it's anything that's in docks used to be the case that you could only get it there. COVID hit though, so they opened up the Shop Disney and opened up some of the Legacy Sabers there. Supposedly they've got them in Disney Springs. I didn't see any though I did find the exclusive Black Series figures that were supposed to be in parks only there, and some of the kids sabers. So they had Ezra Bridger's Blaster Saber that was only supposed to be in Galaxy's Edge, but I did find that actually outside in Disney Springs. But then you'll see most of the little stuffed animals and the creature things. If you want the wider variety, that's going to only be in Galaxy's Edge, because they heard people get really upset. It was one of the perks to going into Galaxy's Edge was that you got exclusive merchandise, and that was a big piece to it. And they kind of ruined it when they opened it up to absolutely everybody. But it does make sense. They're trying to keep it the hype alive at least.
So Gary was able to pick up the reforged Anakin saber.
That is everywhere.
Okay, that's in both places.
Yeah, that's probably the most prevalent saber at this point. That and Rey's staff saber.
Okay.
But if you're looking for the mace, the Ahsoka's current sabers, I think you can also find Obi-Wan's prequel hilt pretty much everywhere. Those are the most common, but it's the new releases that they're going to just have staged for the actual Galaxy's Edge.
I got you. So when you go back, because you were saying that you're going to be going back, is there something that you're going to be looking to get, seeing if is available?
You know, there's actually a few things I'm looking at. I love the sabers. In fact, I mean, the cases too were just fun. The hilts themselves are solid quality. I mean, I've been to Saber Forge in Portland before. They're great quality, but I mean, right there, you're looking at maybe $300 worth of hilts, and that would get you a non-electronic Saber Forge. They look great. And it's just something fun. It's a great experience. Though I will tell you, Andy, when I brought yours back, I did it carry on. I know.
Yeah.
It went through the X-ray machine, and they thought I carried a bomb. They literally stop, reverse it, because I've got 3 sets of sabers there. Reverse it, and then you just hear this one guy go, "What is that?" And then the guy goes, "I think that's Rey's lightsaber." And then they look at me, and I'm just like that. He's like, "Cool." But yeah, you almost got me strip searched and everything. Thank you.
Well, that's Andy's. He aspires to that.
It's not a day until you've been strip searched. Well, that's cool, man.
Let's go through. So we've talked a bit about Galaxy's Edge. Let's give Keith a little review. We're kind of doing this in reverse. Let's give him a little review on as we transition maybe to Keith's Captain America. Look,
other passions.
We all love Star Wars, right? That's why we're here.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that you can't branch out to some awesome franchises, which of course, OG comic franchises in our century, which would be Marvel. And but let's start with this picture, which really, really makes me happy.
This is who Keith.
This is Keith.
This is Keith.
Yeah.
Now you've seen Keith on the screen, but you don't see him in this picture. Actually, you see him less in this picture than others, or more than others. But Keith is Batman.
Keith,
that is
Batman.
A badass Batman costume, Keith.
Yeah.
Do you still own that, or did you rent it?
No, I bought the suit and then did adjustments to it. And actually, there's a website called the Replica Prop Forum, the RPF. And Adam Savage from Mythbuster fame is on there. And he actually, when I posted that we were making the suit, because these suits were actually all made in about 3 months. I made the claws, the Spider-Man suit and everything. It's for a little guy who was going through terminal cancer. So he had a
very nice
tumor the size of about a softball. And so we made the suits because he had missed his birthday party a bunch of times, and he just wanted to see he wanted to meet superheroes, and Batman was his favorite. So we got as many people as we could, and I jumped off of a balcony wearing that thing, and good grief, I will tell you.
It's heavy.
Now tell me what? Wait, what? You jumped off a balcony?
Yeah, so it's a restaurant that has a little balcony, and I jumped off of it to land. We cleared off a spot, and I will tell you, capes are terrible. Edna Mode from Incredibles is right, because if you go up the stairs, you literally have to drape it over your arm like it's some sort of train to a dress. And then if you jump off something really high, then the cape falls over your head and you look like an imbecile. But I mean, it works. It really made a kid's day.
That's amazing.
That's the important thing.
There's something like Batman hitting the ground with his cape over his head.
Dang it.
Floundering like he's stuck in a parachute.
Just
Let me at him.
Just wrestling.
Oh, that's great. So let's talk your collection here real quick, because we've got some pictures of some of his sabers that
no problem.
We definitely need to show off here. I know behind you you've got. Oh, you started off with.
Sorry.
That's all right. No, that's great.
Yeah. Luke's, the cool thing with this one is it actually gives you two, essentially where the grenade grip is unscrews off, and you can put on a different one that actually would accept a full-size blade. But then they give you this one to display because this is true to screen use, which is awesome. And it's how I prefer to display it anyway.
Yeah, that's a beautiful saber. I know we've got some Jedi Luke fans in the chat here. So
we do. And of course, Vade's.
This is actually
or Anakin's
the reforged Anakin.
Yeah.
So, and which at this point, is it Luke's, is it Anakin's, or is it Rey's? It's kind of, I'm really looking forward to getting just the standard Anakin, but well, only time will tell.
Yeah. Beautiful looking. It's
pretty.
Beautiful. They're heavy too. They're heavy. Yeah, they're well made.
I mean, and honestly, again, you're looking at, I think that one was 129. You can't, at that price, and then $25 gets you the little stand. It's such an awesome piece. I've always wanted a lightsaber like Luke's original. So like this was the closest I was going to get, at least on this trip. So I had to pick it up at that point.
Mm-hmm. It's beautiful.
Beautiful.
There was one more there, Joshy boy.
It's Obi-Wan's prequel hilt.
Is there one more?
Is there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, go ahead and talk about it.
Well, you want me to just grab it?
It's not in the. Yeah, let's go. It wasn't in my.
Okay,
notes.
I'm sorry.
Apologize.
No, I probably didn't do it.
There it is. Keith's got it. Boom.
Boom.
Awesome.
So
awesome.
Obi-Wan's. I mean, again, solid quality, ease of access to change out your batteries, but then they do all come with a little blade cap.
Wow.
To keep your electronics set. Now, the nice thing with the build your own saber, it doesn't matter what saber you build, you can change the color with a kyber crystal. It's simple. All of the legacy ones, the kyber crystal's been chosen for you. So Luke's Return of the Jedi is always going to be green. You're never going to have a blue version of it. But you're set to go there. I have also got an old like 2001 Master Replicas Obi-Wan saber. So back before it was as prevalent to see them, but it's awesome.
All right,
Yeah,
Keith,
you're right.
I'm going to derail. I'm derailing right now, Keith. I'm derailing because I know this story and I want to hear it because I'm going to show this pic. All right, we got some pics here. So we got this. Now this is your own.
Yep, that's the Mark 7.
That's the Mark 7, your own personal shield. I want you to tell the story, the one that involves the maker, not of Star Wars, but of Marvel. Will you tell? This is the Reader's Digest version. All right, but talk us through
how you
tell us
nearly killed.
No, just tell us, give us a background on what went into making this really quick, and then not that one, but this one, and just kind of go. No, well, am I even on the right one, Keith? Walk me through this. What I have this shield here.
Yep. So that's the pristine shield. There's a standard silver shield. Pristine. That's the one you're talking about, and then that's the extreme battle damage.
All right. So this is the one I'm talking about right here. Yep. This shield.
This was the first one.
No, actually, these are all the 6th or 7th generation of shields that I had built. The first ones, these are all 25 pounds a piece.
Okay.
So the initial ones, I actually was using an English wheel and spun aluminum and just working on a garage in a buddy's blacksmithing shop.
And the old English wheel. We got a couple of Brits in the room, so there you go.
Yeah. But yeah, so I saw the first Captain America and wanted a shield. So I tried to buy one and you couldn't find them. So I started making them.
And you made these out of pure aluminum? These are like full metal.
Yeah, so it's full metal. The original ones were just all done in a garage. And then at this point, by the time I got to the 5th generation, and I made the first one just to have for myself. And the guy who painted it wanted it. And so he paid me $1,500 for it. And it's like, wow, I could make a side business out of this. So I started making all of those shields.
Wow.
And by the time I got to the 5th generation, I knew somebody with some contacts for mass production in China. And so I actually was able to get a deal going where they took my design for the box, which I think that box is somewhere in the pictures too. We just literally built it.
Winter Soldier box. Look up.
Gotcha. Keep talking.
Yeah. And
Or
so
do you have the
point-
box with you?
Yeah, I actually do.
Yeah, grab that because I don't have it.
Okay.
Okay.
I think that's why I didn't post it, because I knew you had it.
Okay, so the box looks like this to start.
Jeez.
It is,
How did you design this?
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
And then you just open it like a vault.
And we got Winter Soldier version here.
And there were originally going to be different covers, but this is just...
God, that's awesome.
yeah, Keith. I mean, how many of these boxes do you have?
I've got 4 of them left.
All right, can I get one signed?
You
I'm
want it?
just
Sure.
Sure.
Done.
They're,
So yeah, I
they're
started-
20,000.
I could maybe part with one for 20.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
That's beautiful.
By that point, we started mass producing them because I couldn't keep up with the orders that I was getting. So I contacted Disney and wanted to do a partnership with them. I did it 3 times and they shot me down 3 times. They ultimately said, here are our terms. They wanted a certain amount of money up front and then a very large percentage of my profits, and said, you can take it or leave it. Otherwise, here's a cease and desist letter.
Right.
Which that was before Star Wars came into the Disney canon and family. They've gotten a lot more relaxed with the 501st and everything. So you see people popping up with these shields. Not to this level. I mean, these are 25 pounds. Instead of it being done on the English wheel, they're just actually a CNC out of a single block. And then custom paint job and then actual leather straps to the back.
Wow. All right, now
these are nuts.
Now go to the
And they're
story.
bulletproof. So that's fun too.
They really are. So go to the story. So
Okay,
what
so-
happens when you take it was this which shield was it? It was this one?
Yep.
That one? Yeah.
So if you look at all of them, it's actually the one on out of the circular shields, it's the 3rd one. In fact,
Okay.
it's right here. All right.
Yeah, give him a
Don't drop it on your keyboard.
It's okay if you do, but I mean, they're thick.
Yeah.
And then
Does it bounce off a tree?
I've honestly never tried.
Does it return to your hand no matter what?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
That's just out of guilt trips from handing it to people and they're afraid they're going to break it. But
Okay, so you took this.
yeah, so there was they announced at Rose City Comic Con, which you guys are going to this year, right?
Yeah, a couple months, right? September. Keith, we'll take you with us.
Yeah.
Hey,
I think
sure,
it's-
why not? I mean, I've
September,
only been to the one. So I showed up. I bought a VIP pass to meet Stan Lee, and so it included having him do 2 signatures and a meet and greet for like 10-15 minutes just with him, and then just a photo op. Everything. It's like great. It was super cheap, and it ended up being his farewell tour. They announced that he wasn't going to be doing anything after that. Which when I saw him, you could tell why. He was not in good health at all. But pretty much you go in and you have this. It was a weird thing because you have the VIP badge, but they kept putting us in the general population line. So we're standing in line for like 2-3 hours. And I figured I'd just carry that shield in and be done in like 2 hours max. It was 8 hours total
Wow.
carrying that thing around. Yeah, I got to meet John Heder, so Napoleon Dynamite fame.
Mhm.
Norman Reedus. He smells
Okay.
exactly like he looks on TV. In case you're wondering.
Cool.
Definitely stoned. He was, yeah. But yeah, so you get in line, you're going to get to meet Stan Lee. So did a walkthrough, kind of talked to him a little bit, and he looked miserable, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
But then you get to go in and you're doing a picture with Stan. And we were in line for probably 2 hours. It was just me, and you just get to be friends with people online. There are people wearing spandex that shouldn't. There are, it's a very strange. Cons are very weird. You guys,
No, they're amazingly weird.
They're amazing. Yes.
You see a lot of Princess Leia's that could have been Jabba's.
You sure do. You see a lot of Bobas that could have been Jabba's.
Yeah.
People have missed their calling. But so the guy in front of me was just waiting. He was carrying a tactical diaper bag, so like a backpack. And
Sorry, Andy just reminded me I actually have that sound effect. Sorry, continue.
And he was trying to get his wife's attention because she had the kids out somewhere else in the con just walking around. I think they're talking to the creators of Pinky and the Brain, of all places.
Sure.
But so he calls her up. He's like, "We're up next. You got to get here." So he calls her up. She's like, "I can't find you in the sea of people." So I just told her to look for the shield. So I held it up. There's nothing like it. You have people just cheering. Yeah, it's amazing. But when she gets up there, he takes the backpack off, and he's wearing a light gray shirt. And it was just sweat stained. It was nasty. And he was visibly distraught. He's like, "I can't believe I'm going to meet my hero." And he'd been talking about it. That Stan Lee, he had an original Amazing Fantasy 15 sealed in a little vault. Like, Stan Lee was the guy to him. And he's like, "This is so embarrassing because I'm never going to get to do this again." So I told him, "He's like, just take my shield. Just cover over yourself. You'll be good." His eyes got like that big around because other people wanted to hold it, and I kind of held off on that. But gave him the shield. He goes in, gets his picture taken with Stan, but they only let that one group in to the room with Stan at a time. So it was awkward when I was trying to go into the room and they were there. Security didn't like me at that point. It's like, "That's my shield. I'm not going to have my picture taken with Stan without it." And as we do the transition, Stanley looks me in the eyes and he says, "Did you make that?" It's like, "Yes." It's like, "Because I was going to ask, does Chris know that you have his shield?" And it's like, "Oh, Stan." There you go. But then he asked these very amazing words. He's like, "Can I hold it?" And you got to remember, Stan Lee at this point was in his late 80s, 90s. He probably weighed about 95 to 110 pounds at most.
Yeah.
And he's sitting precariously on a bar stool. And I don't think anything. I spin it around and I hand it to him, straps first. Didn't think to warn him that this is
that it's 20% of his body. Yeah.
Oh man.
So Stanley takes a header off of his bar stool into my carrying arms.
You held Stan Lee? You held Stan Lee?
You were his hero.
Him, and security swarmed me in the most polite way possible and said, "Get your hands off Mr. Lee." So I helped get him to a seat. And then that's where the picture comes in that I think you have too. That's why I'm standing awkwardly away from him, holding my shield, looking like I'm in trouble.
I don't have
small
that
child.
Well, that's the thumbnail. That's
it
that's
is
the thumbnail.
Okay.
yeah.
So yeah, that's why I look awkward in pictures anyway. But that was exceptional.
Exceptionally awkward from you,
Because
Stan
I
Lee.
pretty much killed him. But yeah, then a little bit later, we actually got him to sign things. So he signed that shield in the silver stripe. But the guy ahead of me, same guy as before, pulled his Amazing Fantasy out of the vault. Stan Lee had a person on each arm to help hold him up because he was so exhausted. And he signs this Amazing Fantasy. And then he signed over it a second time. And so it ruined both signatures and lowered the value of his comic.
Oh my
You
God.
could just literally see it. So I'm next.
That's such a Stan Lee move.
To the point that they're like, "Do you want to have this like certified as Excelsior approved?" And the guy's like, it's not even worth, like, sure, why not? So I was the next guy up, and I put the shield down. He's like, you sure you want me to sign this? It's like, yeah. It's like, where do you want me to sign it? It's like, Stan, you sign anywhere you want. So he signs it, and I yank that out from under Stan.
Before he forgets he signed it.
Yeah, and then he signed another little poster that they give you there, which was cool. But yeah, so I almost killed Stan Lee twice.
Okay.
You watched a priceless comic get ruined by Stan Lee.
Yeah.
And, yeah. All right.
That's amazing and awesome that you built shields that you're no longer allowed to make.
Right.
And that you have a set of shields that are in the process of getting mounted on your walls. Those are all incredible looking. And I've seen not all of them in person, but I've seen, I think, 2 or 3 of them in person, and they are.
I've held one.
Oh my gosh, they're so good.
My toes ached just holding it above them.
They're good.
I think I still got a picture of you, Josh, with it.
Yeah, you probably do.
Like,
yeah, you probably do. Not so much Captain as maybe I don't know, Chef America. That was a great story. Thank you. And that story I'd heard before, and I love it every time. I did not know about the gentleman in front of you in line, though. See, you can look next time you tell this story. Just talk about how George Lucas helped you catch Stan Lee. Oh, no problem.
Spider-Man came out.
Oh, I'm here.
Oh, that's awesome, Keith. I think our listeners are just going to have a real kick hearing about your stories, and those on Rewind I'm talking about. And I'm so thankful that you've been able to hang out with us this evening, share your knowledge, your expertise on how to do Galaxy's Edge, what you have to do in order to check off all the boxes successfully that you need to check off. And I know you're going back soon, and I can't wait to hear what you find and what you get down there.
I think you're still looking for the Syndulla Calicori.
Yes. Yeah. That is something I've got my eye on through Keith.
I see.
So
Keith's pretty much our peddler. He's brought me a few things back.
He takes an empty suitcase
you
with
got
him.
a holocron.
I do. We have 2 holocrons
That's
via
true.
Keith, and they're somewhere. Why they were on the? They were.
I know.
We got a holocron thief in the house. Yeah. Holocron thief.
Holocron.
Anyway,
Ezra Bridger.
We got him around here.
Ezra Bridger.
Yeah.
But before we wrap up this time, and thank you so much for sharing your hot and sweaty Monday evening with us here, Keith. We have a little thing that we like to call the Red 5 Design Toy and Collectible Review. And this one, we owe a big tip of the cap to our buddy Keith for, were it not for him, do you need to?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
I think I have time during the. Go ahead.
Okay.
Come on, man.
Okay, sorry.
Come on, I got this.
Yeah, we're pros.
Sort of.
Were it not for Keith.
Hello?
On the stream, that's why. There it is. Here we go, Keith. Tell us what we got here.
What are we looking at?
You've got an official Star Wars Galaxy's Edge Legacy Ray Staff Saber. Woo! Just came out. Yellow blade, full metal hilt. I mean, what more can you say?
This thing is heavy.
It's heavy.
It's actually the heaviest out of all of them I've picked up so far.
Tell you what, It'll just fall into the sand if you drop it.
Without the force.
Without the force.
What I like about this, there's two things that I love about this, and the first is that it's got a cloth strap handle through the middle. It's almost like athletic tape, but it's a cloth.
And that's when you look at the fit and finishes on all of the legacy sabers, even like the reforged Luke, which they call the Ray now, it's got actual leather to it. Like it's legit setups on everything. Only downside to this guy, in my opinion, was the emitter portion of it. I wish those little blades would have been metal instead of plastic. That's the only thing I can say.
Yeah, having held it in my hand, it's beautiful. It's heavy. It's well made. It's a work of art. And then the second thing that I like about it is that, let me show you.
Oh, here he goes. By the way, we just kicked the fire on, which was dumb.
Which is brilliant in this heat.
Yeah. Oh.
See, there you go.
Woo! No, move. That is amazing.
It's a great piece. I see you still have all the stickers on it, though.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, well, come on. We for good reason.
So this is the Ray Staff Saber, ladies and gentlemen. It is awesome. It is totally awesome.
And you guys went through. I love this. Who had it?
Can't Stop, Won't Stop.
Yeah, Gary did. Yeah, Can't Stop, Won't Stop. He even knows the song. He looked it up. That is the royalty-free song that we use for this. You are correct. But we went through the whole thing. I think that's a first. Good job.
And thank you, Keith, for being our mule.
Of course. Now, one thing I will say, if you do pick up one of these sabers, know that if you want the sound effects, you do have to get the blade too.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's just static.
I think that's kind of fun, though, right? Like you pick up a saber this year and you pick up a blade the next. I mean, or you do it all at the same time. It's up to you. But I obviously the callbacks are great as far as going back, and especially when you talk about sabers that are being retired. We had some comments in the chat like, do you think they'll come back, or do you think they won't? I love it. I didn't. Don't worry, just ambient noise. Ambient noise from Galaxy's Edge happening right now.
Galaxy's Edge. I think we blew a compressor.
Yeah, exactly.
This is amazing. Here, I should hit this just to keep. There it is. All right.
So, Keith, let me ask you one thing. What are the blades made out of? Are they a plastic? Are they a glass?
Yeah, they're a plastic, a polycarbonate, and you got 3 blade lengths. I will say, I was looking at them to maybe pick one up for some of my sabers, but I just didn't pick it up. I didn't want to deal with it on the plane.
Yeah.
It is crazy expensive if you try to buy it afterwards. You're looking at it increasing a minimum 30% if you try and pick it up on Amazon or eBay.
Do they ship for you? Will they ship at all? I mean, they got to know this isn't something that...
They will ship, and I actually saw so many people on the plane bringing their Savi's Workshop lightsabers or just boxes to it. It's actually not as big of a deal as I thought it was going to be. But yeah, I wouldn't pay the scalper price to it at all.
Never pay the scalper price.
Don't scalp it.
Don't pay the scalper
all right,
price.
Keithy, baby, thank you much.
You're welcome.
That's been great.
This is a lot of fun, man.
Good to see you guys.
Are you on Twitter at all, or do you have any social medias in case somebody wants to like give you a fist bump for your shields, or talk about your love of Legos behind you that we really didn't get to talk about this time? But yes,
there's a few of them up there.
There's a Batwing. There's an R2. I know you're a Lego lover.
Yeah, I mean, outside of that Lego Boba Fett starship that was just announced.
Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth.
Yeah, so I'm at...
Will Keith stay for that? Should we even go into that?
I don't
care. I feel so positive right now.
Okay, we're going to leave it. Okay, so yeah, it's KTH Jensen, JENSEN on Instagram. I think Twitter, but I'm rarely ever on there. So I can always add it again.
All right. KTH Jensen. Nice shot, Jensen.
And that's what on Instagram?
Yeah, Instagram and pretty much everywhere.
Sweet. I'm trying to add it to the bottom for these peeps. There you go. Boom.
Look at you, Mr.
Yeah.
Technical.
I got it. Keith. That's why Keith said the audio is dead. Yeah, the audio was dead for good reason. Anyway, anything else we want to add here? I mean, we got Keith in the room. We could take it out with Keith in the room. Do you really want to talk about Boba Fett's starship?
I want to talk about the 3 new Lego sets that are coming out.
Okay.
One of which.
Let's leave it. It's been a good show. Look
Okay.
at Andy. Look at the camera, Andy.
Could be a great show.
There are
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming and listening to us, whether you were live or on the rewind. Remember to find us at Holochronicles on all social medias, including Patreon.
Yeah, which we're gonna throw up. This is our first throw up on the screen.
Yeah.
Throw up. I gotta finish that sentence. Throw up on the screen. We're so excited about our Patreons. It's been a great couple.
We got a
of
great
weeks.
group. Yeah,
And it's also like this private little group we have that we get to just sit. I don't know. We're sending them cool stuff. I'm not trying to brag here, but if you're not a Patreon, you're missing out on behind the scenes with Andy and Josh.
you gotta.
It doesn't involve underwear yet, but let me tell you,
it's not an OnlyFans.
it's really where we just are like, look how terrible this is. What is going on?
Or,
that's my side.
Or look at how awesome this is.
Wow, I know.
Or look at this illegal video that I
behind the scenes, illegal videos. Okay, now it sounds like OnlyFans.
Well,
yeah. Anyway,
it's not.
It's not.
Something
it's not even close.
boundaries.
It's better.
Yes, it's better. All right. But anyway, thank you for following. Thank you for listening. And thank you for sharing, ladies and gentlemen. Go play with your toys.